Monday.
It feels like a Monday.
So, nudity, right?
Yep, nudity.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Welcome, traders. We are back. Episode 57. Everything's late. Nobody dies.
Lucky 57. It brings me right to heaven. It's what I need. It's what I want. I'm slightly tired and a little gaunt. What?
You ever thought about theater?
That's what I do. That's what we're doing now, right?
That's
Right.
what
This is an audition tape.
the-
This is my sizzle reel.
yeah. We're hoping that Fox 13 gets hold of this and
There you go.
spreads it around.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
know people.
Good.
So it's been a few weeks.
Spread me like butter.
Been a few weeks. I was actually on my way. I was on my way to come and film last week when out of the blue I get a text. Just out of the blue. I'm at the airport and you're supposed to pick me up. And I'm all right.
Well, I was
Who is
just
that?
screwing with you. I just didn't want to do the
I thought somebody was screwing with me because I'm like, okay, and who is this? And the reply came back, it's Don McGregor. Like,
From McGregor,
all right.
from the McGregor Dairies, the cheese
No.
makers from
No,
upper northern Wisconsin.
from Black Panther fame.
McGregor and Collins,
Yeah.
the law firm that represented OJ. Oh, that Don McGregor.
That Don
Oh,
McGregor.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like, I don't know if I was supposed to pick you up, but I'll be right there.
There you go.
So I got to spend the entire afternoon with Don. We're on a first name basis. And
I can tell.
his lovely
I
wife.
can tell that he's on a first name basis with you. Or vice
Oh,
versa.
trust me.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
So, I got to hobnob with comic book royalty. I mean, the rest of the guys are great. The Stray Dogs guy.
The other Tory or however, yeah, he was fine.
No, they're great guys. I mean, Tony Fleeks is really cool. Tone is he's really cool, but different. Yeah, but he's a great guy. I got along great with him. Of course,
Like artistically different, or like
he's very much
he
an
has like
artist.
six nipples. Like, what do you mean?
He's very much an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Which
Sure.
which is very cool. So got to
he's all
hang out
artsy.
with all those guys. But yeah, Don McGregor,
Nice.
very cool stuff.
That's awesome.
That's like comic book royalty. Closest you're going to get nowadays.
No, I'd blow myself off to hang out with him as well.
Well, if you could blow yourself off.
I wouldn't be here right now. There you go. And
And segue.
Aether.
So that kind of feeds into a little bit about what I wanted to talk about this week.
Don McGregor or the thing I just said?
No, the thing you just said.
Oh, no.
Banned books.
Oh, like Slayer, Metallica, stuff like that? Banned.
Yeah,
Go
banned.
ahead. Sorry.
I do have a really cool Metallica. Like Maria Key did a cover for the Metallica Rock and Roll History book. Super cool.
Nice.
Got it in metal. I stole it from Jonathan. He watches this, so he'll probably now know that I stole his Metallica, but it is very cool.
It's okay, John. It's just Metallica. It's a real band.
But that book is so cool. So cool.
No,
Like
those books are pretty cool. There's a Slayer one this week.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think.
They're not. That's the thing. And none of these are like super good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it's a Slayer book or it's a Metallica book or it's an AC/DC book or it's a whatever kind of book, whatever you're into. They've got an Oingo Boingo one. They did, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool.
Is anybody into Oingo Boingo?
Danny Elfman is.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Well, not anymore, I guess. The former members of Oingo Boingo are very much into him, from what I understand.
I don't think they're into it as much as in it.
No, that's probably true. No, it's not like Oingo Boingo. They're cool.
Yeah.
Be like that, huh?
It wasn't really my thing.
Fair enough. All right. What's going on with YouTube there, man?
YouTube's telling me everybody's going live. Bueller's
Oh
going
no, what's
live.
going on? Oh, well, do we have to cover something?
No, it's just Bueller does this Thursday night auction.
This just in, Jack Kirby died. Doot, 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 doot. Ring the bell.
Yeah, too soon.
I know it was too soon.
But it was really cool because I got to hear stories about hanging out in the bullpen with Jack Kirby and Stanley.
Nice.
And
That's cool as hell.
so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Telling me about how his take on the Black Panther was like, because he's the one that took Black Panther in that like more diverse direction.
So he did the Panthers Prey, right?
Yeah.
I just priced those this morning. That's funny.
Nice.
And then he also did the Marvel Comics Presents one, didn't he? Him and Gene Colan.
Yeah.
That was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
And that was the first time where I was like, oh, yeah, Black Panther. This is maybe kind of an important character because it was a whole story about apartheid and genocide and things like that. And I was like, damn, they're really tackling some stuff with this, which. And I mean, it was always, Black Power, Black Panther. I mean, gee, I wonder where they got that name, but, I mean, that whole situation.
But he was telling us that, so when they brought him onto the book, his intention was to make a Black Panther based more in Africa, in Wakanda. Right? He's the one who created Wakanda and Killmonger and all of the tribes and that type of stuff. And Marvel wanted him to go a complete different direction. They wanted him to be like an urban superhero that, would go out there and fight with all the white guys. And
and he would, he would, he was an inner city hero.
Right.
And he, kind of started out not that way, but then, he and Falcon, being the social worker and all that kind of stuff, they all came in and all of a sudden they're living in New York in a vendor's mansion. It's like, oh, well, I mean, you could have anybody do that. You've got an original, different character. Let's look at some other things, which I think was cool. And they did, granted, they did some of that again, with the civil rights movement and things like that. And like the, hate monger and all that kind of stuff. They did some interesting stuff. But it was always sort of a, going down a different road for a few issues, and then they just came right back to, let's see what the Avengers are up to. They didn't really give them their due.
Right.
So it's good to see, that has progressed into something different. I had somebody in here the other day that I had to explain why I thought diversity was a good thing in comics. This is because, being you and me being, two straight white guys in the store, we're the minority right now. So there were like 3 Latino people in here. There were like a couple of women in here, it's like, yeah, we're the minority, man. If we only wrote to us, if they only wrote to us, then we would be the only 2 people here. And then this industry would be done. So, then I'd hate that, you brought the Black Panther thing out. That's the only way that I could segue into this and the only reason I am. But, if you don't like one thing, you just keep walking down the shelf and you will find something.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a good thing about it. And that's kind of that's almost my kind of final say, bottom line. When people are like, what about diversity in comics? I'm like, what about diversity in anything? It's not a bad thing to be inclusive. If you only cater to one specific demographic, whatever industry it is, it's going to be toast.
Very true.
Yeah. If you don't like the gay superhero, if you don't like the black superhero, if you don't like the female superhero, keep walking down there. There'll be Captain America up there. There'll be Punisher over here. There'll be, it'll be okay. You can find something.
I mean, comic books originally, as far back as comic books go, were always a haven for diversity. I mean,
we're all outcasts.
There's a lot of people that are like, no, everybody back in the 30s and 40s, and they were all straight white male. They were Jews. I mean, Captain America is a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
Like any way you look at it.
Yeah.
Superman couple of Jews writing stories about Jewish.
Also an illegal alien
That is true as well.
who just came to America, started living with some people, never got his green card. He never worked towards citizenship. He didn't do shit. He just said, I can fly, so screw you. And that's why I hate Superman. No, that's not. But, I mean, seriously, that was an illegal alien, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, comes down to it. Yeah, he was. So anyway, nudity.
Well, it was more on the line of banned books. I was watching.
I was talking about nudity.
Well, I was watching a show the other day, and they were talking about banning mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a very conservative YouTuber's channel, and he was talking about how that needs to be banned. And
why? What was the rationale? So people don't learn about World War II?
I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to learn about any of those things.
I'm a firm believer that a lot of stuff, and nudity's been a big point of what gets comic books banned for a lot of people.
Also, there's a big point of what sells them.
I don't know. I think that's still a pretty niche market.
It is, but it's
Male.
It may be.
No,
not so much.
Mm-mm. I mean, the
Batwing is the Batwing. I know
Batwing.
I know a couple ladies that have been looking for that book for a while.
The only people that seemed upset about that were DC. When they read it,
yeah.
Like, oh God, how did we miss this?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand DC Warner getting all up in arms over.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I mean, they printed it in the first place.
I mean,
but these are the same people that didn't read The Boys and canceled it with issue 6 because somebody finally read it and went, oh no, this is us.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no. Anyway, nudity. So it's a good thing you can only see me from here up. No, I think I mean it doesn't. It doesn't seem like any comics really are getting banned anymore. I mean, there are more things coming out that have expletives on the cover.
Well, it wasn't.
There are more things coming out with actual nudity on the cover.
Oh yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah, you've been going through quite a few post-its.
A lot of post-its, man. A lot of post-its. Yeah. And usually, if it's a topless one, I like to, put the price there and then the 2 zeros, particular places because it's more fun that way.
Right.
But anyway, but no, it's and I feel like it's getting less restricted. And I don't know if that's good or bad. It's always been less restricted as far as violence is concerned.
Right.
And violence, oddly, is never a problem. I go back to it's probably 10 years ago when, if not more, when Wildstorm was doing Friday the 13th. And, this woman came in, bought like a couple of Nightmare on Elm Streets, a couple of Friday the 13th for a kid. And then she brought them back, said, I have to bring these back because there's nudity in them. And I'm like,
in Friday the 13th. All right.
But what about the machetes going through people's faces and people being chopped in half and hung from trees for people to run into, and the axe in the face and things like that? That's okay. So you can kill whoever you want as long as you have your pants on, right? That's the deal. Fair enough. Okay, good. But I mean, that's, people still, it's a pretty Puritan society at heart that we still live in, as far as that's concerned. I mean, and this, think of it this way: you have a PG-13 movie with 1,000 guns, but if there's more than one boob, no.
Yeah.
So one boob's okay?
I think 2 are good, but. I mean, and I think can't you have like, maybe you can't even have like a quick flash of a boob anymore.
I don't think you can.
Because you used to in a PG.
Right.
Now, and then PG-13, you would have a little bit of nudity. You get one F word as long as it wasn't referring to sex. which is really weird. You can say F you, you can say go F yourself, but you can't say would you like to F. You can't. That's fine. That's what I'm saying. That's what that's. I just didn't want to say that word because but I mean, it always has seemed weird to me that we're intrinsically afraid of who and what we are, but any armaments or whatever you can get, that's good. That's okay. It's like what's outside is bad. What's inside, that's okay. That you can cut somebody open and see what's in there. That's fine.
Right.
It's just always seemed really weird to me.
That is an odd double standard.
Yeah.
In our society, I don't think that really holds true anymore in comic books. I mean, that's the type of stuff that created the Comics Code Authority in the first place, with the detective stories where there was a lot of excessive violence.
And the thing that somehow I have just learned, which is still in the glossary in the Overstreet Guide, a headlight cover. Did you know that's a thing?
Really?
Protruding breasts.
Right.
A headlight cover. That is terminology in the comic book world. I don't know why you should be surprised at that, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun.
But it wasn't so much the nudity and stuff back then as much as the violence.
Yeah.
And now body horror is a regular thing for a lot of the indie books.
Yeah. And I always think body horror is an interesting genre, or subgenre, I guess. Because it's like you start marketing movies, body horror stuff rated R, right? 17 or over. Okay. Unless you're my kid, then, let's just go. But, yeah, so, you get that, but it also represents change. It represents your body changing. It represents your brain, your mind changing, and all that kind of stuff. And I've always wondered if maybe that's what's so attractive about that stuff to a lot of people, because they're going through that at that point in time. Or menopause that I guess you and I are, you're going through at the moment, whoever the hell you are. But I always wonder if that's kind of it, like Ginger Snaps, the werewolf movie,
right?
Which makes lycanthropy like an analogy for menstruation,
right?
So the body's changed. There's blood. There's mouth. Turned into a monster. But it was really interesting that kind of stuff though. And I think once you get deeper into horror, you start finding that those things do register with a certain group of people. And I always love that. I always think that's really cool. And that also may be why it does scare people into wanting to ban it or wanting to censor it. Because it's like, man, maybe these people don't, kind of like the sexual repression of a lot of, I'm not naming anyone, religious. Anyway, so, you don't think about it. It doesn't happen. It's not there.
Right.
Don't you think about that. And if you don't see this, it's not here. If you don't confront that, it doesn't exist. And I think that's mainly, I don't think banning books or banning comics or music or anything like that. I don't think it has anything to do with protecting people, except the people that are trying to ban it.
Right.
Because obviously they feel very uncomfortable with it. And if you want to see something really funny, you pour yourself a drink and you watch Senator Robert Kennedy reading, what is it? Not All Boys Are Blue.
Yeah.
He is going downtown with that, man. And he is reading it uncensored, word for word, in front of a congressional hearing. And he is like, I am so hot for him. It is. Oh my God, it's hilarious, man. But anyway, so there's that.
So I don't, and it wasn't that long ago that they banned Mouse, which for the life of me, I mean, we've all read the book. That is a book, maybe not in grade, well, definitely not in grade school, maybe not even middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a book that should be taught in civic classes at a high school level.
Yeah.
Like I personally feel that book is that important.
Yeah.
And there's a few others.
March is another one.
March
that, I think, that
is a perfect example. Yeah.
You know, some of the Joe Sacco stuff, Sarajevo, sorry to our listeners in Sarajevo. Right. But yeah, you know, I mean, I think it's like any other art or literature or film or anything like that. You know, there are certain things that are just made for fun. There are certain things that are just made to titillate. Yes, right. That's a fun word. Isn't that fun to say it?
What, titillate?
Yeah, it's fun to say.
That is fun to say. Yeah,
titillate.
It gives me a little tingle.
It titillates you.
It titillates me.
You know, and there are just you know total just trash comics that have no redeeming value that are just fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then there are things that really are trying to tell a story and are trying to do something with the medium. And I think that you know there's a place for all of that. And Random Rick reviews those comics absolutely should have a rating.
I agree with that. I think
they shouldn't be censored, but they should not
right.
not like movies, you know. But they should have a rating, and it should be very plain on there, you know, and very plain, all ages, teen,
right,
adult content, adults only.
I mean, as it is now, they rely on you or whoever's running the comic store to be the gatekeeper of what would be appropriate.
Because I have time to read everything.
Right.
And I know each page inside and out. So I'm a good person to lean on for that.
And then especially in, well, maybe not so much Sugar House or even Salt Lake, but you get into Logan or Ogden or some of these more conservative areas, Provo, certainly, they're going to get mad at the shop owner if their kid comes home with shit show.
Yeah.
Or scumbag.
Right.
But
I mean, you know, and yeah, if there's like a 12 or 13-year-old kid that comes in, you know, and he's like, I want to be a Walking Dead. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you do. It's super cool. You come back, somebody over 17, and I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like a legal thing. Like, you know, you can't ask somebody to buy booze for you. You can't ask somebody to, you know, I mean, you can, but that's illegal, right? Or cigarettes or, you know, whatever it might be. You know, it's not like there's a law against that. And that's why everything says suggested for mature readers. And there's not an actual age on it. Now, I feel like maybe, you know, all ages, teen, suggested for mature readers. I think that's fine.
I would agree with that.
Because, you know, who are you to say who's mature? You know, my daughter was reading stuff of 14 and 15 that there are people that I see all the time that they're not ready and they're in their 30s, you know.
And
you know what I mean? It's like,
you cannot, as a parent, you parents don't rely on Greg to monitor what your children read.
Yeah, please don't.
Because
please don't.
I mean, and I'm the same way. I mean, my children, we don't censor. We don't censor music. We don't censor literature. Don't really censor film, TV, any of it. Never have. And
the only exception is when my daughter was 13, she was watching Deadpool. I did fast forward through that whole calendar scene. But, you know, later on, he's like, oh, that's why. Okay.
I mean, there's certainly things that I feel are inappropriate for younger viewers or younger readers. Yeah. And I would steer my children away from that type of stuff. But if they came upon it, then that's my opportunity as a parent to have that conversation. Talk about it
and have a conversation. Exactly. That's very true. And Rick also brings up a good point. You know, and that happened with PMRC when they did the warnings on the album covers. You know, and they were like, "Oh man, you know, the Filthy 15, and we're going to ban Wasp and Cyndi Lauper and John Denver. We don't want anybody listening to that." sure, whatever. And those were their targets.
And Tipper Gore was hot.
You know, she was
No.
she was hot for reading those lyrics out loud, just like Senator Kennedy. Let me be telling you. But yeah, when she was reading that Wasp song, oh my God, that
was some great stuff.
But what happened? And what happened then in the 80s? Okay, you slap a parental advisory, explicit content sticker on that.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to buy it. I don't know what it is.
Twisted Sister.
I do not know what it is, but I'm going to buy it. Being 16, 17, 18 years old, the more explicit the content was, and especially as a teenager or a kid, you tell me not to do that.
Yeah.
You just take that word "not" right out of there, man, because you have this is a suggested list of purchases now. This is not look out.
Yeah.
This is what I want now. You ban a movie. Even like, even like the Video Nasties, from the 80s in England, that they did, which was their list of banned films. They had an official list and then an unofficial list with others, but they would go in and raid video stores. And what I started doing later in life, I was like, well, I want to collect every one of these, man. I want to buy all the Video Nasties.
You got a list of what
Hell yes, I do.
Collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, government list of saying things that I shouldn't. That's a great, you've just completed my library for me. Thank you. So yeah, it does backfire. He's very right with that. Hey.
Hey, sleepy reader.
Hey.
Damien. Makes you wonder if Tipper was an animal in the bedroom. I always suspected that maybe there was something between her and Dee Snider. Like
they had the same hair, basically. That point in time.
Pretty close.
Pretty close, man. Yes. Boy, are we in sync today? Right, man. My God. Yeah.
We finally synced up.
Yeah. Al Gore was like, I'll watch Tipper and Dee.
I'll just be over here inventing the internet.
Yeah. You two that's a lot of emissions.
Okay, that sounds creepy.
I know.
A little bit. Well, that was kind of the point.
It's a lot of
but
emissions.
Yeah, that's
you left your carbon footprint all over my head.
But throwing right back to Batwing, like that book.
You saying Wang or Wing?
Wang.
Okay.
Batwing.
I'm like, why did they get upset over Batwing? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, all right. Now
so anyway,
Damned. Batman Damned.
Batman Damned. It was a mediocre book at best.
Yeah, it wasn't very.
It wasn't great.
It was not very good.
But
the art was beautiful.
It had some nice artwork in it.
Yeah,
but everybody wants that book, that banned one.
Yeah,
everybody wants a copy of Superman with Clark Kent holding the beer.
Everybody wants the microwave baby.
Yeah,
the Elseworlds.
Yeah,
you know about that, right? The Elseworlds book.
No,
yeah, it was an Elseworlds book. And they put baby Superman in a microwave.
Really?
Yeah, he was okay, of course, because he's baby Superman. And then the microwave blew up, and he was like, "Wow!" And then they totally took that off the market. And then they reprinted it later, and now everybody wants to reprint. Like that book is worth a ton of money because everybody wants the baby in the microwave book.
Wow.
I feel like that's where they got that scene from the Flash movie, because apparently he put a baby in a microwave in the Flash movie.
Oh yeah.
But this time it was to save him, not yum. Yes, not to baste him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I think it was a babysitter, and they were babysitting. It was kind of like a what's his name from The Incredibles, little baby boy, Jack. Yeah, little baby boy. They're my favorite character, little baby boy. Remember him? Yeah, it was. I feel like it was kind of like Jack. If I remember right, the babysitter was just like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" It's like and sits him in the microwave, closes the microwave, and then goes and the food's sitting on the counter with a diaper next to it, and just like and then the kid's fine, which was funny. That's really funny. But then they were like, "Oh no, you can't do that." So they recalled and destroyed and canceled and all kind of. But there are some out there. Yeah. So,
and it just makes people want them more.
It really does. Yeah. It does. It makes everybody want them more.
Yeah.
And that's I think at heart and right down in our little animal brains, man, we're all just kids. If somebody says you can't do that, the first thought you have is not, yeah, you're right. It's like, maybe I can. I wonder how I can do that. Can I get away with it? Can I do it?
Well, and so you've got like the two that come to mind are Do You Poo and
yes, thank you.
So the Do You Poo books and what's the other one? The Hardly Thin. So it's the same book.
Dead Poo.
No, it's Do You Poo is the name of the book.
Oh,
and it's one book. It's not a series.
Oh, okay. All right.
They just put different covers on it with different tributes and stuff. And the reason they do that is because, like, it's titillating. That's what you go for.
Oh, God, you can't quit saying that.
Yeah, I can't quit saying it now. That's the stuff that people want to go for.
Mm-hmm. Wang Dang Sweet Batarang.
We need a shirt that says that. Wang Dang Sweet Batarang.
Oh, that's a Ted Nugent song.
Because the guys, we stop maturing at 17 and we fake it after that. I don't even think we're trying to fake it at this point.
I don't think so. 17, that's all ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 12-year-old me kind of disagreeing with that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that there's no way in hell that I was an adult when I heard they were doing Predator Wolverine. Just like, oh my God, man! I reverted back to being 10 years old, playing with my Star Wars figures on the floor. What if Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars should fight? And then they said, yeah, they are doing Predator versus Wolverine, and I just lost my shit because it's so, and it's good. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
God, it's good.
I don't.
It is really good, man. Like, it's really good.
Like, there's nothing from the big two right now that it even gets me excited.
Should be that.
Nothing titillates me.
Nothing titillates you anymore?
No.
Well, that happens when a man reaches a certain age. No, it's really good, though, because, Ben was saying that when he was writing it, he said the second that Marvel bought Fox, he was like, oh God, please, please, please. And he pitched it immediately. And they're like, oh, no, we can't do that. And then he kept pitching it. And finally they were like, okay, write it so it could be in continuity or it couldn't be. Either way works. And that is exactly what he did. And it's not confusing and it's not bad writing, because a lot of times when people do that, it comes across as a alternate dimension, whatever thing, right? But this, it's like, you think to yourself, well, why wouldn't, if Wolverine is running to the Predator like 4 or 5 times, he's going to remember that. But no, because one was before Weapon X, one was before Team X, and he kept having his mind wiped. Mm-hmm. And that's why he doesn't remember fighting him. But the Predators remember him because he's the badass from the X-Men.
Right.
So it's really cool. It is really fun. And it's well done. Greg Land's art does not look like it is traced off of certain band movies covers. Not everybody's going, But yeah, it's really good. It's really fun. I'm enjoying the hell out of that. Peacemaker was the best DC book I've read in a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because they leaned into the TV show.
Oh, cool.
It was Peacemaker from the TV show.
See, and I really enjoyed the TV show. I think they did a great job with that.
And so you'd love the Peacemaker series. Peacemaker Tries Hard is what it's called.
Cool.
And he has a little dog they call Fancy Little Gentleman. And it's just so damn cute. But that was really fun. And I'm finding that most of the stuff from the big two, I guess you would say, I guess there's like a big four now, but whatever. When you're looking at Marvel and DC stuff, the majority of the time there's no stakes.
Right.
When Batman dies again, and he will soon, I'm sure. That He'll be back in a couple months. Death of Moon Knight. Well, oh, okay, Death of Moon Knight. Yeah, sure. He's never coming back. Never coming back.
Right.
No, never gonna come back. He's gone for good. Nobody dies, right? It's the name of the friggin' podcast.
Yeah.
And there are no stakes with that. And that's kind of what I like about some of the Wolverine books. Is there are some stakes. He's not going to die, but he's going to get jacked up. And that's one of the things I appreciate about the Predator Wolverine book. It is a rated R violent book. It is not an X-Men book. It is like a Predator movie. There are skinned bodies. There are holes blown in people. It is brutal. And it's very much there on the page.
Mm.
And that was the other thing I was worried about when they did it. I was like, oh, God, what if they tone this thing? They're going to have to tone it down. Like the Dark Horse Predator stuff was PG-13 at best.
Right.
But this stuff is, it's pretty hardcore violent.
So how would you say that book stacks up to? Because I know you like Prey, the movie Prey that came out last year, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was the best.
It was great.
That was the best Predator movie since Predator 2, in my opinion.
Thank you for agreeing that. Well, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think Predator 2 as a movie is a better movie than the first one.
Much, a million times better. Danny Glover was a better hero.
Look, if I'm going to watch a Predator movie, I'm probably going to watch the first one.
Oh yeah, you got to watch it.
But the second one I think was a better movie. It was just I just think it was a better movie. But you know what? And I would say this is pretty even with Prey. Because it goes back in time. Without being the alien predator pyramid crap. It goes back in time and explains why it's like that. There's a compelling story to it. It all makes sense. It's kind of back to the brutality of that first one again. Because that first movie was gory as hell. Because they marketed it as an action movie, so they could get all that gore in it. Because at that point, you can put whatever you wanted in an action movie, and it's going to get an R. But if you said it was a horror movie and a creature feature, then it's going to get cut to pieces. So they marketed that thing as an action movie. I mean, Predator's not on the poster. It's Schwarzenegger with a machine gun that's going,
right,
doing his thing. So they can put what the hell ever they want in there, and they're not really going to cut much of it. So I would say it stacks up favorably with Prey. And I think you're the only person that I know that views the Predator movies the same way as I do, which is I feel like most of them are fun. They're not all great movies, but they're really fun.
The only Predator movie or even Alien Predator movie that I thought was really a great movie, a well done film, was number 2. The rest of them are just popcorn entertainment,
Predator?
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
Yeah. Well, you just said number 2. Number 2.
Predator.
But I think the first Alien movie was a fantastic movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was a great movie. Much better than Aliens. If I'm going to watch another movie, if I'm going to watch one, it's kind of the reverse. If I'm going to watch one, it's probably going to be Aliens because, that's more fun.
Yeah, that was just
the first Predator
movie.
Is fun. But I think the first Alien and the second Predator are probably the best films if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and it makes me wonder because they seem to be really careful at the big Disney conglomerate or whatever they're calling themselves.
Yeah.
That, I think they know that they've screwed up Marvel at this point. And I think they know that they screwed up Star Wars at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the people over at Fox are like, we really don't want you to screw up Predator or Aliens.
Yeah.
So they're being a little more careful
they
with
don't
that.
have a say in it, but
they do to some extent.
And I guess, to some extent, I guess they do, but
Iger and Kennedy are too busy putting out fires over at Marvel.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
All that to do anything else. I think they're trying to pivot on Marvel right now to get away from Kang, which they have to do.
You have to do that.
Yeah. So
I mean, and when it was, an accusation, I was in wait and see mode. But then it's been several, and there's been some other things that have come out about him, and now he's actually going to trial.
Yeah.
So I don't, then I don't really feel like that is a wait and see situation anymore. I feel like he did some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so they need to distance that. So I mean, that just completely blows everything they have planned going forward.
Yeah.
With this phase,
they went too far into they leaned too far into one villain, I think.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, it worked the first time.
Yeah,
with Thanos, but
you can CG Thanos.
Well, not only that, Thanos is the kind of villain you can do that with.
Yeah,
King isn't.
Right.
Like nobody cares about King. I don't care about King.
I started to care about him a little bit. Yeah, and then I feel like they overused him.
There's nothing in the comic books that makes me feel that King is a viable threat to a Captain Marvel.
It depends. It depends on who's writing it. It depends on what that storyline is. Yeah. I always felt that King was kind of a wasted potential sort of character. And I mean the guy can time travel. He should be one of the ultimate threats in the Marvel universe, but he's never come across like that.
And I just think that's a poor crutch for storytelling. Like the
not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it isn't,
so.
But it also should make somebody like the most powerful character. If you're fighting somebody, you take a swing at them, they can travel back in time because they know you're going to do that. You go like that, they grab your arm, they break it, and they kill you. Okay. Right. You can't defeat somebody that can do that.
And part of it is that I'm sick of the multiverse. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun there.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of that. But
the Doctor Strange movie was perfect with it. I thought they did a perfect job with it there. And that also could have put the Inhumans in a multiverse, so that show didn't exist.
Right.
They can just wipe that now
and bring those characters back.
Yeah, differently and better.
Yeah.
But no, and I agree. The Marvels, I have heard a lot of really good feedback on it.
I'm super excited. I really want to see it.
I'm going to.
Have you seen the Marvels yet, Beck?
Yes, it's so good, actually.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, I heard the chemistry was between the three leads was fantastic.
Right.
And I haven't seen the Ms. Marvel series because I just don't like that character.
It was cute. I mean, it was fun.
And I mean, I'm just. I shouldn't say I don't like her. I just, I don't know. I don't care. I feel like that's a lazy character. It's just Reed Richards. The stretchy arms and the big fist and the whatever,
Well, the thing with Miss Marvel,
they put more into it since.
The thing with Miss Marvel as a character in the comic books is it's a character that I'm not supposed to connect with.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't written for me. It was written for my daughters.
Exactly.
It was written for,
Which is why I think it's an important character to keep existing.
Absolutely.
That's what I was talking about. There's something for everyone.
But they did write it, and they did write that series in a way that I watched it and I enjoyed it. I'm probably not going to revisit it much. But
well, I mean, but look at that. 30 years ago, somebody came in and said, "Hi, I have a Muslim teenage daughter who's trying really hard to fit into American way of life, and she's a bit unsure about herself because she's going through a lot of changes. Do you have anything that she could connect to in the comic world?" And I'd be like, Captain America? No, I don't, man. And I think that is another. That's what I'm saying. That's going to, if anything is going to save comics after this crash, it's going to be that kind of stuff. And they need to narrow their focus and do something just good,
right?
Just good. Scale back on the high price cover prices. Scale back on those variants. Scale back on those restarts. Just really narrow that focus, and bring these characters in to where they really should be, and try and keep them there.
There was a really good article in, I think it was CBR, talking about just that the restarts and the variants and all that stuff, and talking about how the restarts damaged everything.
Yeah.
Almost irreparably. And that word did not come out the way it probably should have, but
it was very titillating.
So the restarts did a lot of damage to the point where now they're rethinking that and thinking, well, maybe we don't restart anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe we go back to a legacy system and just run our numbers.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that would be a really great idea.
I think so.
The restart, I've been saying this for a while, but I firmly believe that these restarts, these new number ones, we can only get to 10 issues and we have to restart it. If there's a different artist on, we have to restart it. If there's a different writer, we need to restart it. If there's a new TV series, we need to restart it. I really feel like, that has become, and I've seen this with customers, that's become a jumping off point.
Right.
Not a jumping on point.
Right.
Because, you can say, well, I've completed that series now. We are completists. We're collectors. We want everything. We are, we want all of whatever series. That's why we collect comic books. That's why back issues are big.
Yeah.
We want to complete that series. And if you give us a stopping point and say, okay, well, this is where that series ends, then we'll be like, yay, what's next?
Well, and that's why a lot of collectors are moving to indies.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can collect a full run of whatever it is I'm reading at the moment.
Right.
Like I've got a full run of Stray Dogs. I've got a full run of, Department of Truth or Ha Ha or any of these indie books.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to go back and say, oh, wait a minute, there's, Adventures of Ice Cream Man, or there is, whatever the case may be. There's a finite spot where that story ends.
Right.
For the most part. Sometimes they come back and do other things. But when they do that, like I Hate Fairyland, that's not selling anywhere near as well as the first series was.
Right.
Because people are like, well, that was done. And that was, you finished your story. And the other thing that I think is damaging is the number ones, even if somebody does come in and say, I want to start from number one, it's no longer a jumping on point. You can't pick up a number one and start a new story. Like the She-Hulk, the new She-Hulk that came out. That's the same story.
Right.
It's number 16, essentially. It's the same writer, same artist. It's the same damn story, but it's a number one.
Well, so the reboot of Daredevil, that last reboot, that's when I jumped off of Daredevil.
Yeah.
For that reason. Because nothing had changed. The characters hadn't changed.
Right.
We got different writers. We got different artists. But
actually, no, we didn't.
No.
It was the same writer and the same artist.
We were supposed to get different writers and artists.
Yeah, it's still Zdarsky and Chichetto.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's just continued. There was no reason to restart at that point.
So Marvel could charge you an extra $1 for number one. That's why.
Yeah. Well, and the cost is getting just out of hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I wish they would do that. That being said, I, am in a spot where I am starting to get more excited about comics. I'm narrowing my focus with things now and saying, all right, I don't need everything. I have my run of Walking Dead. I don't need Walking Dead Deluxe. I don't need Walking Dead Weekly. I have my run of Walking Dead. I enjoyed it. Was the best thing I ever read? No. Was it the worst? Far from it. I already have it. And I don't need more reprints of this,
right.
And that's because I collect so much. If I only collected 10 or 15 titles, then yeah, you bet your ass I'd be getting all those again. So it's like if you're super passionate about Walking Dead, then yeah, get the Walking Dead Deluxe stuff. If that's your thing, get everything. And, there's plenty out there for you. You can get that stuff. I just have to narrow mine a little bit because hell, I read like that. The Hold has like 300 titles a month on it. And it's crazy. And I need to just say, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So you narrow that a little bit and you kind of focus it, and you start enjoying stuff so much more. So much more.
Yeah, I've been enjoying what I've been reading recently, but at this point I'm reading maybe 10% of what I was reading a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're enjoying it more, aren't you?
I'm enjoying it a lot more.
Yeah, because you're not overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I'm reading the stuff that I want to read. I'm not reading the stuff that people are like, oh, this is the new hot book this week. You need to grab that one.
Speaking of which,
and
though,
then
you
you
should get the
pick
G.I.
up-
Joe one, the
I do
original
need
Hama
to
script. Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
That's actually been selling better than 131.
Really?
Yeah. 131
not
or
surprised.
301, I guess. That has been selling well, but the Hama one has been going nuts, man.
Right.
People want to know what he did. What they made him change. It's like somebody came in yesterday and they're like, why are they doing a new number one of this? Is it number one or is it number 301? I said, oh, it's both. You get the G.I. Joe number one, you can see what his script originally was. You can see.
That's so cool.
Yeah. All the, whatever, I guess at that point it was, Hasbro that made him change it. Probably was Marvel, and I don't know what those changes are, but it's really cool they were able to do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that book.
Yeah. So,
honestly.
And that's a cool thing for collectors. And I wish instead of just reprinting the boys, I wish Dynamite would have done that with those first 6 issues and put them out truly uncensored. Because there were some things that DC said they needed to change in there.
Oh, yeah.
And they did put that out in the trade paperbacks, but not the individual issues. I wish they would do them in the individual issues. I can't believe I'm telling Dynamite to do a special edition of something. That's a terrible idea. Oh, my God. What's wrong with me?
Oh, there's another 5,000 covers.
Yeah, no.
That would be insane.
Yeah, that's the thing that pisses me off is Dynamite publishes Alice Cooper and Army of Darkness. There's no way I'm not going to get every cover of those.
Army of Darkness Forever.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. That was good.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not going to get every cover of those.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting. I don't like it. I'm very mad about that, but it doesn't matter because they're so cool.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, there you go. So
interesting.
I think we actually covered our topic today.
We did a bit.
We talked about it.
So next week,
mm-hmm.
I am out of state next week. So
oh my God.
And it's Thanksgiving. So even if I drove up here, you wouldn't be here.
Oh no, I'm going to be here all day. I'm going to be here on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So it'll be 2 weeks, and we'll be back at you. If you've got an idea for a subject that you'd like to hear us cover or ramble on about and take a few tangents here and there, drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Or we can fit the topic in between our tangents.
There you go.
Somehow.
It'll be a tittillating experience for everybody.
Oh, will it ever?
Yes. Very unlike John Carter of Mars. So...
Gotta have that in every episode, don't we?
Man.
Yep.
So
and also, yeah, Rick, I know you're gone. You'll probably see this a little bit later, but thanks for the subscribe. Hit that sub.
Yeah.
Yep. Heading out to the highway, but hit the sub. So thank you.
So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. I said, oh my hell! If you want to know when we're doing a show, ring the bell and we'll let you know.
All right. We'll see you later, traders.
Bye.
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 So long.